Hey guys, Cola here, and I am definitely not on my way to control or deleting a minor for merely existing. So, Velma has returned from the depths of hell from whence it came, against all our wishes, and no surprise, it's still pretty bad. However, honestly, it doesn't feel as bad as season 1. I know that may be blasphemous to say, but I've only watched episode 1 so far, and I don't feel the urge to immediately want to claw my eyes out. So I guess that's a positive. Hey, who knows? The later episodes might make me want to change my stance on euthanasia. I think HBO or Max, why have they called themselves just Max? What, are they being run by just one guy now? Anyway, Max seems to have given up on the show because they have just dumped all the episodes at once online, unlike slow rolling them in season 1. And when a streaming service that isn't Netflix does this, that's never usually a good sign. Hell, look at Echo. And instead of terrible jokes, plot holes, and the skeleton of a mystery narrative we got in season 1, it has now been replaced with something arguably worse. Boring melodrama.
Why can't you just admit you want to be together?
Because you told Norval you loved him right in front of me.
So let's dive on in and see how bad season 2's premiere actually is, and spoilers for anyone who cares, which I doubt will be any of you. We start off with a previously on Velma segment, but guys, don't worry, just check out my playlist instead. It will save you the trouble. The show then pretends that Velma is athletic enough to ride a bike, in the woods of all places, as she is going to a party with all the cool kids. Daphne's there as a poor excuse of a jump scare.
Pretty jumpy. Ah, don't kill me!
Velma, relax. It's just me.
She's no Velma though. And why are these kids partying in the woods? Like, you wouldn't believe there was a serial killer incident only 3 weeks ago in Showtime. But then again, remember, this town is full of idiots who thought a serial killing ghost couldn't hurt them. It turns out this random party being in the middle of nowhere is only here for 2 reasons. 1, to show us the boring melodrama between Velma and Daphne.
Why can't you just admit you want to be together?
Because you told Norval you loved him right in front of me.
And 2, to find the sheriff's dead body.
Oh God, look! It's Sheriff Cogburn!
That's how we find the dead body? Talk about anticlimactic. I literally burst out laughing. And I can't decide whether this is poor voice acting, where the voice actors don't care enough anymore, or whether they act so nonchalant towards a dead body because it's of a straight white male, because that is this show's one punching bag. And that second option might be likely, considering that when the girls' dead bodies were found in season 1, everybody sounded like they cared.
It's Sheriff Cogburn!
It's even more suspicious when you realize those girls aren't even dead anymore because they're just existing as sentient brains in jars. Whereas the sheriff here definitely ain't getting a revive. Naturally, the logical next step to finding a dead body is to remove everyone from the area and have the police and detectives look for clues. But Velma isn't that kind of show. The police do show up, but they don't remove anyone. No, in fact, they bring even more people to the crime scene. And hey, if you've ever felt useless in your life, try being this cop. Yeah, no one's getting past you, buddy. And is that guy taking a piss back there? Fred, who is here for some reason as a spooky stuff hunter, is angry that Velma wants to dig up his mom's grave because Velma believes that she is behind the murder, even though it doesn't fit her MO.
In horror movies, killers always return 3 to 10 times.
Oh, we are still doing the in every scary movie bit. Good to see this show's sense of humor hasn't changed at all. Fred manages to convince everyone that the ghost of Norville's grandma is the murderer, and everyone believes him because of reasons I stated earlier. I guess I should point out that at the end of last season, Fred was tricked into believing that the ghost of Norville's grandma possessed his mom and influenced her to be a serial killer. Hence his spooky stuff hunter business. And he's not doing it alone.
'Cause Freddy's partnered up with another smoking hot white dude. Jesus.
Wait, a joke that is actually funny? And who's gonna tell him? The person the police brought with them happens to be their friend, who was one of the Hex Girls. Wow! Remember the Hex Girls in Scooby-Doo? Well, this is them now. She's definitely seen some better days. She has a daughter called Amber, who is super weird and into the occult, and I'm sure she definitely doesn't have anything to do with the murder. One thing I want to point out though is that Velma thinks Amber looks super cool, but I don't see it. Like every other guy, I can be attracted to those goth Dami mommy types, but what is this? What is that haircut? Yo boss man, I want to get that iconic potato look, but leave hair on the top and bottom, no fade. We cut to Norville having hallucinations because of his guilt for killing Fred's mom. Original, I know. And the only way he can get rid of them is by stress eating. No matter how much this show tries to shaggyfy Norville, he will never be that guy. Even his new law-accurate shirt won't change my mind.
Totally. I'm totally not stress eating because I killed Fred's mom.
Yet again, I ask, how are none of you in prison? Or at the very least, down for manslaughter. I do feel bad for Norville though. He seemed to be the only one affected by killing Victoria, yet his parents just laugh at a kid having a mental breakdown and tell him to take weed to calm his nerves. Ain't you a principal? And aren't you a therapist? Velma decides to break the law, again, and dig up Victoria's grave. But uh-oh, she's attacked by a mysterious stranger. However, this stranger seems to be a ninja because they just vanish in thin air. Why didn't they finish the job? She was right there. We could have got the good ending. But they disappear, leaving behind a singular shoe. And Norville has the other. Dun dun dun. Drama. Velma's mom is still around and doesn't want Velma to investigate mysteries anymore because of reasons too boring to explain. So we have to waste more time by having Velma come up with plans to get her mom out of the picture.
Come on, being popular isn't just all partying and eating yogurt on museum steps.
Last time I checked, popular people don't keep pointing out that they're popular. Trust me, I would know. One day. Velma contaminates her own evidence since she isn't wearing any gloves, but it doesn't matter anyway since Fred's dogs accidentally destroy it. And Fred's really pissed at Velma since he finds out that Velma tried to dig up his mom's grave.
You just better pray the church never teaches me attack spells.
Okay, they got me. Wait, is that laughter? Have my standards of this show lowered so much to the point that I find that joke actually funny? I need help.
I know you're mad at me, but I have to follow Fred, and maybe we can catch up.
Okay.
Norville, why are you still simping? Well, I guess you wouldn't call it simping, but it's just sad. Velma publicly rejected her love for you is one of the main causes for your hallucinations, and when you see her in person for the first time, she immediately tells you to give her a ride.
Okay.
And you fold like an omelette. Where is your spine? Norville hallucinates, so they're about to die, but Velma finds the other shoe in Norville's car, and instead of helping Norville to keep them alive, she would rather choose to argue and let them both die right here, right now, which would make me happy, but come on, priorities. It turns out that Norville went to the cemetery because he also believed that Victoria could still be alive and wanted to rid himself of his guilt, but he saw that Velma was being attacked by someone else and couldn't help her because he was having a hallucinogenic episode, and instead managed to get to the other pair as evidence for Velma. What? Now this is one of the most convoluted things I have heard in anything ever. Like, this has to be worse than how the hell did Velma get into Fred's house in season 1? And it just adds way more questions. Like, how come Velma didn't hear Norville audibly screaming in fear from his hallucinations? Why didn't Norville immediately give Velma the other shoe once he'd recovered from his manic episode? If he truly intended to help her, why didn't he just do that? And what are the chances that the mystery attacker loses both pair of their shoes? Are you telling me that there is just a random attacker who can ninja vanish into thin air but somehow leaves both their shoes and have to run away on bare foot? Do you realise how stupid that sounds? They later go to the funeral home where Velma and Norville find out that Sheriff Cogburn has an identical sounding twin brother, and this leads to Daphne finding them in a compromising spot. Fred gets the other shoe, which is promptly destroyed by his dogs.
Maybe solving mysteries with dogs is a mistake.
Oh, I see what they did there. Doesn't mean I like it, but I can see what they did. So Daphne thinks her cop moms killed the sheriff because she heard from Amber, who is living at her place for now because of reasons, that they have been planning to run for co-sheriffs for weeks now, even though we just found the sheriff's dead body yesterday and was thought to be on vacation this entire time. This obviously gets proved wrong in the very next scene and makes you wonder why we even bothered at all. Turns out they found a lot of his blood weeks ago in the evidence storage room with a couple of missing documents tied to Velma's mom's case, particularly the journals about Norville's dead grandmother, Dr. Edna Perdue. Remember her?
Special Covert Operations Brain Initiative, or Scooby.
Scooby? And wait, what did Scooby do?
Those were some dark times. Now you may be wondering, why didn't they inform the town about the sheriff's murder? I don't know. And now this is starting to feel eerily similar to season 1's pilot episode. Remember how Velma, the great detective, found clues by just hearing one person say they think so-and-so did it, and Velma wholeheartedly believed that this is the truth and dives headfirst into getting that person arrested, even without any real evidence or motives? Like how she believed that Fred was the serial killer in season 1 because he was a rich white guy, and Velma believed that all rich white guys will kill anyone just because they can. Well, she's doing the exact same thing, but this time with the cop moms, Victoria, who is already dead, and now with no evidence, she believes it's Mr. S. Mr. S, for context, is a teacher that just returned from sabbatical and has the hots for Velma's mom. And Amber happens to mention that Mr. S is very interested in Dr. Edna Perdue's research, but worst of all, he's British.
Velma, is that you? Or have kids wised up and started copying your brilliant mix of brains and bang?
And Velma is now scared that she just set her mom up with a potential murderer. Obviously, this is not the case because there are 9 more episodes. Dear God, I just realized there are 9 more episodes. The episode ends with more melodrama between Velma and Daphne. Fred and Norville are on better terms after bonding over the fact that they have neglectful parents, and Mr. S is killed off screen. Oi bruv, if you think you can come round my yard and shank me, then do 10 toes without me swinging. You got another thing coming, innit? All in all, this episode is not nearly as insufferable as season 1, but it was just so boring. Don't be fooled by how long this video is. I had to really graft to write this script. I watched this episode on 2x speed the second time round for my notes, and I still felt like a year had been taken off my life. I rate this episode 4 out of 10. Maybe the next episode will have more substance to it. But tell me what you guys thought about it and what you would rate this episode out of 10. And no spoilers. I want to see this car crash unfold in front of my very own eyes. Cola out.